Okay, hello everybody. Thomas Fleming here. I've got the sun directly behind me if I sit straight in my swing here, so I'm going to have to sit at an angle. Okay, I was going to let my other video come out tomorrow, so I'm going to go ahead and preempt it with this one, just because there's a bunch of new topics up there that I want to make sure I get out there that are topical. Won't do any good if I wait till after the fact, or you see them all. So anyhow, we have no idea how to calculate, to determine, to decipher when the rapture is. None whatsoever. We don't even know when the tribulation starts. We don't even know when the Magog War starts. We know it's there. We know all these events are there. But when do they start? We don't know. All we have to go on is what we have from Jesus and a few other places where they tell us what the times will be like. Got to have the apostasy. Well, we've got it. Got to have earthquakes in diverse places. Well, we have them. We've had earthquakes on the East Coast that doesn't normally get earthquakes. Pestilence. We had the Big C. It's not yet time. These are the birth pains. Are these the birth pains of Revelation 12? Probably. There's so much of this stuff that I keep having problems with that I don't want to talk about anymore, because it's getting to be like the country. Half the people believe one thing fervently, the other half believe another thing fervently, and they are 180 degrees apart. So I don't even want to talk about things that I don't know for sure. I did do a video on who our two witnesses might be, but we don't know when they're supposed to be. They're up front, and they're going to get into it with the Antichrist, so they're up front, but that means we probably won't be here. So, but I mean, they've calculated every date. I was watching an interview, I forget, 60 Minutes, is interviewing a guy who's predicting doom and gloom. This guy has predicted the end of the world for the last 60 years. And that's who our media goes to? He's been wrong, obviously, ever since he started, and they still go to him because he gives them the doom and gloom that this media wants. But they've tried to, I love what Beria has done with his charts and calculations and his quirky manners, comedy, but he tries to predict. Don't do that. You can't. Brenda Weltner does some of the same stuff. She's not doing the charts the way he does, but she's also interpreting. If you try to interpret and work your way into this stuff, you have to make assumptions, and the assumptions can be wrong. I've got a science background. You don't postulate something based on assumptions. You've got to have facts to get there, and there just aren't any. Now, we know we're in the end times because we can see the pieces falling into place. But how long is it going to take them to do that? I don't know. Who's going to calculate the next rapture date? Well, we don't have any holidays until we get to Easter, so we'll probably be free of them until then, but then there'll be a whole bunch of them again. Again, they try to calculate everything they can. Well, if you take this number and you divide it by 0 and you multiply it by 10, and then you subtract 14, you get 2023. Yeah, Where'd you get all the other numbers that you made up to put in that equation? It's just, there was an old joke about, not being able to predict and saying, well, if we could predict that, we could predict how many angels could sit on the end of a pen if they all wore flippers. Yeah, that's absurd, isn't it? But that's what some of these predictions are. Okay. I'm preempting my next video with this one. I'm going to move it in ahead because I don't want to get this stuff too far behind. It won't stay topical if I let it run till the end. So I'm calling this near the end, which we can pretty much agree on, but again, it's speculation. I hate that. Okay, YouTube has a new policy that goes into effect in March, but they're making us sign the agreement now. I'm going to go ahead and do it because if they're going to take me off the air, they're going to do it whether I sign or not. But they're going to penalize you money if you put up something they don't like. It used to be, but they just, give you a warning. They tell you to take it down. They tell you you can't post it until you fix it. I've had videos. I've had 2 videos that they've complained about, but most of them have been music. I try to get music up there, and my God, I've looked up on stuff and I found where the songs are not copyrightable. They're free market. They're open for anybody, and yet it gets up there and it says that it's copyrightable. Well, somebody's lying, obviously. So what do? I take it down, take the music off. I don't want to fight with these guys. And most of my videos are fairly current. I don't have time to let it sit out there a week. Okay, so they got this new stuff, so I'm already off of Facebook because Facebook said I was posting hate speech. Now, you see what I post. Is it hate speech? Well, to the devil it is. So I've still got a presence there, but there's only like about 15 of my closest friends and relatives there, and that's just so they can keep track of me, because most of these people are old and they don't have access to young people anymore to explain how to use this mass media stuff. So nobody else can join. It's for family, but I do have a presence, so I can see stuff, but I can't let anybody come into my account. Okay. The way things are going, they could pull down all Christian sites soon, because we're all going to be complaining about what they're going to get ready to do, and they're getting ready to do it. When they do, go to my Telegram site. It's in the description, along with my contribution sites. And by the way, help out my son. Help him out more than me. He's down there not working. He's volunteering. He's doing missionary work. And he needs funding down there. So help him out instead of helping me. I do have minimal income. I can survive. But he doesn't. But my go-to site is Telegram. I've got an account there. It's in the description. The only problem with Telegram is they have a limit on the size of your videos. They're a little bit longer than the shorts on YouTube, but they're like 2, 3, 4 minutes, whatever they are. They're not very much. And all my videos are 30 minutes, so I can't post them. It took me a little while to figure it out when I first signed up that it wouldn't take it. It just would lock up. It's like, great. Anyhow, I've got that so I can put links to sites. I can do as much typing as I apparently can do, so I may have to do more text and maybe a short video, 2 or 3 minutes. I can adapt to that, but I don't like it because usually I got more to say. I've been trying to figure out how to use Rumble, but I haven't got the time to take my videos. I put some up there at one point, and I don't remember how I did it now. But I couldn't find where I could just have people come into my account and sign in and subscribe and see my videos like you can with YouTube. I haven't figured that out yet. I may have to, and I may just have to live with Telegram if I go off of YouTube. So I've also got an Instagram account, which is part of Facebook, and I've taken it down too. I've looked at some of these other sites. I just don't like them. So somebody needs to recreate YouTube and make sure that it's offshore so that we can't get to it. But ultimately, they won't last. Even those that have got their own servers and have their own accounts and everything that they can't touch now, when they bring in ESG, extra stupid government, if you don't know the meaning of that, Google it. When they bring that in, they can shut the whole world down. Doesn't matter where you're at, they can shut it down. So I'm hoping we're out of here by that time, but I was hoping I'd have something left over for those that don't make the rapture. But I'm afraid that most of the sites are going to be taken down. Okay, so I'm looking at that. They just ended, can I say the acronym? The big round blue thing, economic gathering. I guess the real word for it would be forum. I think I've separated that enough that maybe you can piece all that together. That just ended. If you're not aware, in the past, the attendees were essentially leaders of government. Our illustrious, fearless leader has been there. So has Prince Charles before he became king. They've all been there. They all know what's going on. They know the plan, and they've all drank the Kool-Aid. This last weekend, I'm trying to remember whether it's 2,500 or 3,500, but a lot of people that were there, these were CEOs, not government leaders. These are business leaders from major corporations, working out the details of how to crash the economies of the world and how to step in and save them with digital currency. That's the plan. And the last time they came out of one of these meetings, things happened very quickly. So I'm expecting that we're going to have something happen in the next couple of months. It may coincide with YouTube's new regulations. It may come in before that. But I'm anticipating more and more difficulty. Europe has already agreed to extra stupid government. They're working out the details of how to make it work. So they've already got it. If they fully implement it, then U.S. companies can't deal with Europe unless they comply with ESG, because that would make them over there have a bad score, and they could be shut down. So we are going there eventually, but we're letting them work out the details. I covered this before, but it's basically a two-way thing. The company has to have a good score. If the people below you don't have a good score, it takes your score down. They're trying to decide if they can go up the chain, making sure that everybody who buys your product also has a good ESG score. I didn't mean to say it. Hopefully they don't flag me. I don't say it very often. But I do tell people this is a spiritual war. Don't get physically involved. No fighting, no taking out buildings, no terrorism. Don't do any of this stuff. That's exactly what the enemy wants, because they've got more ability than we do. Satan is the ruler of this world. He can pretty much do anything God can on this world, as far as creating earthquakes, creating storms, doing all this other stuff. You don't have a chance. And we're the restrainer right now. But we're going to be out of here very quickly. So, be ready. Prep for your friends. Leave tracks around for your friends and relatives if they're not going with us. They're going to need some help, because I don't think there's going to be anybody around to initially help. Now, there are going to be people that you've talked to, that you've planted seeds with, that are going to be in the Book of Life, or are in it. And it's going to dawn on them when quite a few million people disappear. And that at that point in time, they've already missed the bus, but they will go ahead and accept Christ. But there's not going to be teachers. There's not going to be other people around unless these people grew up in it and rebelled against it. You know, there's a lot of people that I know that went to church with their parents and rebelled and never go to church after that. But they have the upbringing. They know the rules. They know where to find the source of information. Okay. In our country right now, we've got a battle going on because we have control of the House. The House controls the money. In the last 30 years, I can't remember when we had control of the House, where we actually controlled the budget. The left, working for Satan in all of his evil, evil ways, blackmail the right every time. The purse money comes from the House, but the Senate picks who gets it. And the Senate will come up there and say, well, if you don't give us the budget we're asking for, which is over and above what you want to give us, we're going to cut off funding to senior citizens. We're going to let the homeless starve. We're going to let medicines go up to 1,000%. We're going to punish the people to the nth degree and tell them it's all your fault. And they got the media to do it. And the right, the Republicans, always give in. They spent $31 million for last year's budget. They want more. And you saw what they did with it. They gave it to everybody in the world but us. I hope that this word gets out, that no matter what the Democrats say they're going to do, people are going to know it's really them and not the Republicans. Republicans should vote in a budget that's equal to or less, preferably less than last year. And go ahead and earmark it, but the Senate changes those. It doesn't matter. But if you control the amount, then it will be up to them where it goes. It's going to be a battle. We've got new people in there. Hopefully they're going to fight and not cave. The media is going to be very, very cruel. They're going to pick out every Republican they can and put them up there and showing people dying and them laughing. Unrelated scenes cut together in this modern age of digital media to make it look like they're laughing at people dying. That's the way the media works. That's the way the Satan and his liars work. They frame people, they blackmail people. Okay, so that's coming. They may figure out some way to avert the constitutional requirement of getting approval, and they just may go in and do the budget on the Senate side and just say, we're doing it, the president's going to sign it, we'll just leave the House behind. They might try that too. I don't trust them as far as I can throw a battleship. And they're not very effective anyway. Okay. The European Union has just approved cricket powder to go in flour. Now, we have rules in meat packaging and dry goods packaging that you're allowed to have so many parts per million insects and rodent hairs and things like that, because it's almost impossible to get them out. It would cost 10,000 times to get every bit out of there. And how do you know it wasn't? If it was there and you got it out of there, what did it leave behind? You see, so they allow it. Most people don't know that, but you could be eating cockroach wings and rat hair and stuff like that, and it's allowed. But now they can actually grind up crickets, make a powder out of it, and add it to flour in Europe. Yum, yum. Okay, and we talked about this big round thing, economic gathering. I think where I'm getting the numbers from is there was like 3,500 planes flew in there. Do you think they're worried about carbon emissions? Absolutely not. Not to do that. Couldn't they have all shared a plane? They could have rented a commercial plane and all hopped on it. Then, of course, they wouldn't have all their wet bars and sous chefs and everybody that they have on these expensive millionaire planes or billionaire planes. So, we've got that. I just noticed this morning that a large iceberg is developed off of Antarctica. That's the southern one. They said it was the size of a small country or something. I forget the size. But it's big. Where it's going to go, who knows? We're supposed to be entering into an ice age, and we got polar caps melting. They've got double narratives. They're burning the candle at both ends. Which one do they want? Anything that they can get somebody to follow along with blindly. Because then when they say, well, you got to give us control of everything so we can save the planet. And they're lying. They've been lying. And they're going to continue to lie. It's Satan through all of his different emissaries. And the harlot's still doing her thing. I'm looking for something big from the harlot soon. Whether they're going to crash our currency or give us an option to just go to digital right off the bat before they crash it, so that they can get the volunteers to sign up. They're going to have a good chunk of people willing to sign up anyway that are just going to drink the Kool-Aid with them. And I keep using that phrase, but that's the Jim Jones Kool-Aid. Look it up. We're going to be in some dire states here soon. I'm going back to my storage unit into this week to pull out some stuff so I make sure I've got, I can handle electric right now at campsites. But what happens if I don't have electric? I'm going to have to cook with gas or fire. I've got Dutch ovens. I've been wanting to cook for you guys again, but it won't stop raining. We're getting rain every 2 to 3 days, and then it lasts for 2 to 3 days. And then when the rain stops, it gets bitter cold. So it's winter, I know it. I may have to wait till summertime to get back to this. I can show you how to heat up a can of soup in a microwave. I can do that all the time. But you should know that. All right. I'm going to get done with this video. I'm going to go back and start pre-packing. I start putting all the stuff, all the non-essentials in my car to make sure that I don't have to do any more than I have to on actual packing day. And tomorrow it's supposed to rain pretty good, pretty long, so I'm probably not going to get a whole lot of packing done. So I'm going to do as much packing as I can today. Some people here give me a new tent. I have to check it out. And I need them here to help me in case I have a problem. And they're working, and he's the guy that I told you about that's having problems with dialysis. So keep praying on them. They left last night in a hurry. I don't know why, unless he decided to go to work at the last minute. And they didn't clean up their campsite, so I cleaned it up a little bit this morning in case our rain comes in early. But I hope to see them soon, to put my mind at ease that he's okay. Anyhow, that's all I can think of for this little video. This is just a little short one. But things in the world are getting worse fast. And when they actually turn the switch on, I've got to think that our rapture is within days, if not before they turn the switch. Because I think maybe the rapture is the green light for them. Now the harlot can continue to control the world, because that's not anything to do with the Antichrist initially. The harlot set up, the Antichrist joins in. That's why we have the 7 heads and 10 horns. That's both of them together, working together, but they're working together. And the harlot has taken the blame for everything, has taken the lead. When he's tired of the harlot is when he will kill off the harlot. And I'm sure that that is into the tribulation, because that's after Revelation 12. So, anyhow, I'm going to talk less about the things to happen after the rapture. I end up taking things private, then I end up trying to keep out of arguments, and they just attack me. So I'm not going to talk about it. I've had people want to go, well, you talk about 3 raptures, where are they? I'm not going to talk about those anymore. That's my opinion, that they're out there. If you want to find them, research it. Okay? There are other people that believe that too, not just me. There's the people that believe in the end rapture, and they're very adamant about it, and they won't talk to anybody else. There's the people that believe in the mid-trib rapture. And then there's the people in the pre-trib. Each one has a vision of a rapture. They're all right. That's the problem. You can't tell them they're wrong. They're right, but they don't believe in the other 2. So there's somebody that believes in each one. That ought to be enough evidence that there is one at each point. Okay, wrapping this up till we meet in the clouds, hopefully very soon. God bless.